Hello students, how are you? This is the Rupesh speaking and you are watching your very own educational channel Physics E-Mind. Today we are going to discuss about some other challenging problems which are very important problems regarding derivative. Okay? And we are dealing with these problems part 2 over here. We have already dealt with part 1 session in the previous video. Okay? So it is the continuation of the part 1. It is part 2. Okay, let us move forward to it. First question. An oscillation is made such a way that the position of oscillatory particle follows the dependency rule of time xt equals to sine t square. What is its initial velocity? An oscillation is made such a way that the position of the oscillatory particle follows the dependency rule of time, that is xt equals to sine t square. It has been given, right? And we have numbered this equation as 1. Now differentiating both sides of the equation 1 with respect to t, we are having derivative of xt equals to derivative of sine t square, that is vt equals to cos t square into 2t, using the chain rule, that is the outer function first and then the inner function. Outer function is trigonometric function, that is sine function, and the inner function is pure algebraic function, that is t square. And we are having the product of them, and finally we are having the derivative, that is vt equals to 2t cos t square. Putting t equals to 0 in the equation 2, we are having the initial velocity of the particle, that is v0 equals to 2 into 0 into cos 0 square equals to 0. That is, the initial velocity of the particle is 0. So we can say that the body has initiated its journey from rest. That is, the initial velocity of the particle is 0. Okay. Let us move forward to the next question. A bee flew in air with a rhythm which had been observed carefully. It had been noticed that the bee obeyed a typical velocity time relationship, that is vt equals to t cosec t to the power minus 1. So we need to compute a pattern at which its velocity rate changes with time. Okay, let us move forward to the solution. So it has been given that a bee flew in air with a rhythm which had been observed carefully. Now it had been noticed that the bee obeyed a typical velocity time relationship, which is vt equals to t cosec t to the power minus 1, and we can simplify it as vt equals to sine t by t, and we have numbered it as equation 1. Now differentiating both sides of equation 1 with respect to t, we are having derivative of vt equals to derivative of sine t. Now using the quotient rule over here, we are having derivative of vt, that is acceleration, equals to at. So bottom function whole square in the denominator, and in the numerator part we are having bottom function into derivative of the top function minus top function into derivative of the bottom function, gf dash minus fg dash. You remembered it, right students? So we are moving forward to the next step, and we are having t cos t minus sine t into 1 by t square, that is t cos t minus sine t by t square, and which gives us the pattern at which its velocity rate changes with time, that is the acceleration pattern, acceleration dependency with time. Let us move forward to the next question. Okay, the displacement s of a moving object depends on time as st equals to p into e to the power minus gamma t plus q into e to the power delta t. Show whether the velocity increases or decreases with time. So we have been given one equation, that is st equals to p into e to the power minus gamma t plus q into e to the power delta t. We have numbered it as equation 1. It has revealed the dependency of displacement on time. Okay, and now differentiating both sides of equation 1 with respect to t, we are having derivative of st equals to derivative of p into e to the power minus gamma t plus q into e to the power delta t. It has been given like that, and vt equals to minus p gamma e to the power minus gamma t plus q into q delta e to the power delta t. Here we are using the formula ddt of e to the power at equals to a into e to the power at. It is also one form of chain rule. That is, we are doing the outer function differentiation first and then the inner function. Here the outer function is exponential and inner function is purely algebraic, right? E to the power at, e to the power means it is exponential first and it is the outer function, and then e to the power at. So the power at is purely trigonometric, and we have the result as a into e to the power at. Okay, and we are using over here that and we are having Vt equals to minus P gamma e to the power minus gamma t and plus Q delta e to the power delta t, and we have numbered it as equation 2. So from equation 2 we can infer that V is not independent rather of gamma and delta. Why? Because there is a contribution of gamma and delta over here in the expression of Vt, right? And also V is dependent on time t, and it has been shown in equation 2. Also, when gamma equals to delta, Vt doesn't become 0. And again, from equation 2, also we obtain that when t equals to 0, V, that is V0 equals to minus P gamma e to the power minus gamma into 0 plus Q delta into e to the power delta into 0. Vt is velocity as V0, whether it is V0, okay? Okay, students? It is V0. V0 is velocity at t equals to 0. Here we have used this notation. So we are having minus P gamma into 1 plus Q delta into 1. That is minus P gamma into 1 plus Q delta, and we are having Q delta minus P gamma over here, and that is V0 equals to none other than minus P gamma plus Q delta. We have numbered it as equation 3. Now what is happening over here when t becomes infinity? So we are having V infinity, that is velocity at t equals to infinity, and we have put t equals to infinity in the expression of Vt, that is Vt equals to from equation 2 we are having Vt equals to minus P gamma into e to the power minus gamma t plus Q delta into e to the power delta t. We are putting t equals to infinity over here in the equation 2, and we are having V infinity equals to minus P gamma into e to the power minus gamma infinity plus Q delta into e to the power delta infinity, and we are having minus P gamma divided by e to the power gamma infinity plus Q delta into the power delta infinity, that is minus P gamma by infinity, that is we are having e to the power, since we are having e to the power gamma infinity equals to infinity, right? And e to the power delta infinity equals to infinity. So we are putting over here the values of them, and we are having minus P gamma by infinity plus Q delta into infinity. Anything divided by infinity results in 0. So we are having in the first part as 0 plus it is anything multiplied with infinity results in infinity, which finally results in infinity. That is, we are having V infinity equals to infinity, and we have numbered it as equation 4. So from 3 and from 4, look at the equation 3 and look at equation 4, okay? Here it is a typing mistake, okay? And I have mistakenly typed it twice, okay? Here it will be 1 equals sign. We all know that, right? So from equation 3 and 4, we can also say that velocity is increasing from a finite value, that is Q delta minus P gamma at t equals to 0 to infinity at t equals to infinity, okay? And we are obtaining this from equation 3 and 4, okay? Again we have Vt equals to minus P gamma e to the power minus gamma t plus Q delta e to the power delta t, which is none other than equation 2. Now differentiating both sides of equation 2 with respect to t, we are having dt of Vt equals to minus P gamma. Again we are applying the chain rule, that is again we are differentiating of e to the power minus gamma t. P gamma here, minus P gamma is constant, so minus P gamma into dt of e to the power minus gamma t results in minus gamma e to the power minus gamma t, plus similarly we are having Q delta into e to the power delta t. After differentiating e to the power delta t, we are having delta e to the power delta t, right? And we are putting this value over here, and finally we are getting P gamma square e to the power minus gamma t. Here minus and minus multiplied and results in plus, and we are having P gamma square e to the power minus gamma t plus Q delta square e to the power delta t. And since this expression P gamma square e to the power minus gamma t plus Q delta square e to the power delta t greater than 0, so we can say that dvdt, that is dt of Vt, also greater than 0. That is, we can say that, we know that from the definition of the derivative, that is dvdt is none other than the rate of change of velocity with respect to time, right? And here it is given, it is found to be positive, okay? Or in other words, we can say that the velocity increases with time. Let us move forward to the next problem, that is the problem number 9. The displacement s of a body follows st equals to 90 square minus t cube. Find the time and displacement at that time when it attains maximum velocity. So Students, look at this problem. Here displacement has been given as st equals to 90 square minus tq. We have numbered it as equation 1. Now we need to find out the velocity first, and then you need to find out the time at which the velocity attains its maximum value. So differentiating both sides of equation 1 with respect to t, we are having the velocity vt equals to ddt of st. Now differentiating 90 square minus tq with respect to t, that is ddt of 90 square minus tq, we are having 18t minus 3t square. Okay students, so we have vt equals to 18t minus 3t square, and we have numbered it as equation 2. Now again we are differentiating both sides of equation 2 with respect to t. So we are having ddt of vt equals to ddt of 18t minus 3t square, that is this expression. Okay, and we are having 18 minus 60, and we have numbered it as equation 3. We all know that at maximum point, at the maximum point, that is at the maximum of the velocity function, the dvdt becomes 0, right? Since the tangent makes 0 degree with the positive direction of x-axis. So we are having tan theta equals to 0 at the peak point. Now dvdt equals to 0 results in 18 minus 60 equals to 0, which is resulting in 60 equals to 18, and we are having t equals to 3. So finally we are having at t equals to 3 seconds, velocity becomes maximum. So it is the actual time. We need to find out that we have found out that at t equals to 3 seconds, the velocity becomes its maximum value. Okay, now putting t equals to 3 in equation 1. What is equation 1? It is the equation 1. It is the displacement equation. St equals to 90 square minus tq. We need to find out the displacement at the time when it attains the maximum velocity. So we have already found out that at t equals to 3 seconds, it has attained its maximum value, right? The velocity function attained its maximum value. So we are putting over here t equals to 3 seconds in the displacement function, and we have found out that S3, that is displacement at t equals to 3, equals to 9 into 3 square minus 3 cube. That is, we are putting t equals to 3 in the equation 1. In the equation 1, that is equation 1 means S3 equals to 90 square minus t cube. Okay, that is, we are having 9 into 9 minus 27. After putting t equals to 3 in equation 1, we are getting this, and finally we are having 81 minus 27 equals to 54. So what we are getting over here, now at time t equals to 3 seconds, the body attains its maximum velocity, and at that time, that is at t equals to 3 seconds, the displacement of the body is 54 unit. Okay students, that's all for today. We will be meeting in the next session. Till then, bye, and keep studying. Stay safe, stay home. Okay, bye.